A very, very warm welcome to St Peter Mancroft Church here in the heart of Norwich. My name's Edward Carter. I'm the vicar here at the church. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and just heard the city clock strike 1, we have a short reflection, which is for everyone who's here in the church, but also we live stream, so welcome to any joining us on the live stream also. If you're just looking around the church, please do carry on enjoying your visit. No need to be distracted by me, but if you would like to listen to my reflection, then that would be lovely as well. I noticed again this year that the Publishers Association produced a list of books that politicians are going to be reading this summer holidays. They call it a summer reading list for parliamentarians. They do it every year, and they're trying to celebrate the power of books to inspire and educate and entertain. And also a reminder that reading is a great thing for relaxation in the summer holidays, given the politicians all work so hard. It's also, I guess, a way of publicising books, of course. And for politicians, it's a way for them to make a political point if they want to. I looked up a few examples from this year's list. There's an MP called Harriet Baldwin. Her book she's going to read this summer, I'm not quite sure I would want to read it, is called We Need to Talk About Inflation. Sounds a bit scary, but is a reminder of a political priority at the moment. Theresa Coffey, she's an MP, but also Secretary of State for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. She is going to read Wind in the Willows, which fits her brief anyway. This is a lovely, lovely book. Another MP, Tulip Siddiq, she's going to read Wandering Souls, which is a story, I think a novel based on reality about 3 immigrant children. So very heartrending, I'm sure, and an important issue at the moment. I couldn't see the Prime Minister on the list, Rishi Sunak, but he did reveal a few weeks ago that he likes reading Jilly Cooper for escapism, as he put it. Well, maybe he'll find one of those to read this summer. As for me, well, yes, I've been reading through some books by a novelist called Robert Harris, a very well-known author. He wrote, actually some years ago, a trilogy based on ancient Rome, the Republic of Rome, focused on one of the leading Romans at the time, Cicero, and how he rose and possibly fell again. Certainly features Julius Caesar and others. I've read 2 of the books. I read the first one some time ago, and then I found the other 2 recently. So I've read the second one, and I have the third one waiting to start. It's called Dictator, which sounds terrifying, but I'm actually looking forward to it. And I've enjoyed reading the first 2 in the trilogy. Of course, like any good novel, any good story, you feel like you're entering into it. You can kind of feel the story in your bones. You can sniff the air, for me, in ancient Rome, and you can feel as though the other characters in the story are kind of next to you. Now, I was interested as I looked at the list of what parliamentarians are planning to read, that no one suggested the Bible. I mean, I said I was interested. I'm not surprised. That would have been a bit of a stretch. The Bible, by the way, is the top-selling book of all time. Apparently, it's sold 5 billion copies, more than 5 billion copies. But as I say, I'm not surprised that no one decided to put that in their suitcase for their holiday reading. The Bible is very long. It's got lots of different parts that sometimes don't really seem to be connected. It's complicated. It's certainly difficult to understand often. And that's for me. And you know, I'm a vicar, so I'm not surprised. But the Bible does inspire, and it does educate as well. It's uplifting. I was once told by someone who had in fact been in prison with no religion at all, but they were given a Bible, which often happens, and it was one of those Bibles with very thin paper. As he described it to me, this was perfect for his roll-ups. So he rolled up page after page and smoked his way through the whole Bible until he got to one of the Gospels, so quite near the end. And suddenly he found himself reading the story in the Bible instead of rolling it up and smoking it away. He started reading about the life of Jesus himself. And this particular person found that his life was not just, as it were, inspired. He didn't receive a moment of education so much as a transformation. His life was turned round from that moment, and he became someone full of faith, and indeed someone who wanted to share that good news that he'd received. The Bible is a mysterious book. Not really sure it's right for holiday reading, but it sets out the big picture of the world, a sort of spiritual picture of the world, a framework within which we all live our lives and within which the life of the world carries on. So another way of putting it is the Bible tells a very earthly story often, real people doing real things, sometimes not very nice things, but it adds to that story a whole extra dimension, a spiritual dimension, which brings into play God, and for Christians, the person of Jesus Christ and the good news that is for us and for creation. It adds that extra dimension to our lives as well when we take it seriously. And just as at the moment I'm currently immersed in ancient Rome, I'm kind of seeing and smelling ancient Rome in a very vivid way with the Robert Harris book. So the Bible actually kind of does the same thing. It invites us to immerse ourselves in a big picture view of the world and of life in general. So the Bible, it's a book, and it is inspirational. It does educate. It kind of opens our eyes, I always feel. It opens my eyes to a fuller picture of the world and what life might include. Well, thank you for listening to my few thoughts today. And I don't know what summer reading you've got planned. Maybe you've got a book in mind, or maybe you're going to head to the bookshop or even second-hand bookshop and find something. Maybe books aren't really your thing. That's no problem at all. Maybe the cinema, lots of new films coming out, old films to go and watch. Maybe there's a TV series that you love. Get the old box set out. Who knows? I hope that whatever you're up to this summer, you do get a chance to relax, maybe with a book, maybe in some other way. But I hope as well, I hope for myself really, but also for you, that somehow in amongst all of that, you might find your eyes just opened a little bit more, your imagination opened a bit more to the amazing possibilities that lie within life. And I would say, to the amazing possibilities that God gives to us in our lives. Thank you for listening. And every Wednesday we do have a reflection at 1:00, so do come back for the one next week, or do join us on the live stream again. Thank you.